Chicago is known for its iconic skyline. Built upon the labors of industry and the struggles of the working class, the Windy City's architectural triumphs stand as symbols of determination and innovation. Gregory Dreiser is the Vice President of Interpretation and Exhibitions for the Chicago Architecture Foundation.
It's a crossroads here, and so there was a big focus on building here, and the city was built very quickly, and it was the time that high-rise construction was really getting underway. Chicago was a node or a focal point in the development of high-rise buildings.
When the Chicago fire burned much of the city to the ground, architects were left with a blank canvas. Sean Keller, assistant professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology, said this was an opportunity for designers to implement the latest engineering techniques.
A huge portion of the city before the fire had been built in light frame timber with lumber that was cut down in Michigan or Wisconsin and then brought across the lake. So it was a very different city before the fire. And so after the fire, there was a vast swath of the city that needed to be rebuilt, and then it could be rebuilt with the most up-to-date technology, which at the time was iron and then steel frame.
The Monadnock Building marks this important transition in Chicago's architectural history. Once the world's tallest office building, the frame of the north half is composed entirely of brick.
The exterior walls are very, very thick, particularly at the base, because they have to support everything up above them. So it's a very thick envelope with the two long parallel walls, with a sort of void in the center that is then sort of filled lightly with the iron structure. What will eventually happen is that iron structure will become the structure of the building itself, that the whole building will start to take on this relatively light form of the iron or steel eventually.
A steel frame was used in the south half of the Monadnock. When architect John Root passed away mid-construction, the owners hired another firm by the name of Hollibird and Roach to complete the project, resulting in a building with a split personality of sorts. Soon steel became the norm, and a key component of Chicago's skyscrapers, such as the John Hancock Center, the Willis Tower, and the Trump Tower. Phyllis Kozlowski is the Director of Education for Wendella Boat Tours and has been giving Chicago architecture tours for 25 years.
There is a competition. I would like to say it's healthy, but it probably is pretty competitive among architects to outdo each other. And this city was a wonderful palette for that type of thing, and it was encouraged. I think until our economy improves, until the construction industry can get back on its feet, until the banks aren't skittish about lending money, it's going to be about another 10 years, I think, before we see another building boom. But we had one before. At least we're optimistic.
This is Bethany Hubbard for Medill Reports, Chicago.